Test, test, test. Testing, testing. Wonderful.
Did you have some more comments?
I think that's it for now.
I just wanted to follow up on what Ting said. That you had some excellent ideas, and I like them. The only one that I would question is how do you think we should improve community services? Well, if they don't even know what we do, they can't say, how could we improve it? That's the whole point of giving these booths, is to tell them.
I think she was referring to the event. So if we're at Cinco de Mayo, yeah, I think you were referring to the event. Like,
Yeah.
what did you like about this event,
Yeah.
and how can we improve it?
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes. You,
Any more questions
Yeah,
you
you-
wanted to add to the survey? That
no, no, no. We were just thinking, and we'd like to give feedback. Number 3 can really relate to that first one. How did you hear about this event? And then we can come back next meeting and talk about give our suggestions for additions and subtractions of questions, right?
Yes, most definitely. So it does sound like so far we're looking at getting rid of number 3.
For sure.
Is it-
We're still on the 7 questions? Yes. So number 3 really relates to what our initial question, which will be, how did you hear about this event? Because they're already participating in that.
Yeah. And my recommendation would be to try some of these questions out at the spring celebration event. That's
Yes.
upcoming. And if you're like, they're not understanding these questions, or this is too many words to get out at one time, then you can come back at the next commission meeting and really fine tune it even further.
It's this Saturday, so do you think we could have some way of taking the survey, whether it be on paper or some kind of a device?
Yeah, we can do SurveyMonkey, and they can scan a QR code and do it on their phone, and then we can also have print copies, and then just put those print copies into the system later. That way we can analyze the results like we did for the Hair Commission survey. That would probably be my suggestion. Selfishly, it's the easiest on the staff side.
Sure.
But if we wanted to do only paper copies or whatnot, that's also fine.
I think all good. Yeah.
I like all the suggestions.
Yeah.
Digital is the way to go. Well, thank you very much. This is really, these questions are wonderful. It'll give us a kind of a barometer and really give us the opportunity to engage with people at the event coming up on Saturday. Okay. Oh, I also forgot to mention that the time for public comment was closed. Okay. Moving on to 4B, monthly department report. Staff will present the monthly department.
I still have something to talk about.
I take that back. We're still going to talk about the work plan.
That's about the survey part.
The
I have some updates about the internship program. I heard there's some updates on the translation services the city is providing, that the city council has canceled the translation services.
So I still need to go back and listen to that meeting. As of now, the translation for the agendas for the Hear Commission, the very last one was still translated by an outside source. So I'll still be connecting with the city clerk's office to confirm exactly what the direction was. So there might be some misunderstanding between staff as to the exact direction. If it's not the formal translation, then it would be the Google Translate button that would be available to individuals, so the agenda would only be available in English. And then they would be able to use the Google Translate feature and translate the entire agenda as well as the agenda packet itself. Whereas currently, when we do the translations, it's just for Here Commission and City Council, and it's just the agenda, not the entire agenda packet.
Okay. But that's not gonna affect the flyers?
Correct, and in fact, we're amping that up in our department. I just sent the Playday flyer off for translation, which is something we haven't done before. So we're really trying to be cognizant of increasing our translation services. It's costing us a little bit more, but we're hoping in the long run it's worth it that more people can have access to that information. Part of the Discover St. Gabriel publication will be focused on translation as well. So there's certain things that just can't be translated, like our classes that we offer, for example, because 100% of our instructors, with maybe the exception of one or two, only speak English, so it wouldn't make sense to advertise a class in English that then can't be attended in that particular language. But the news articles that will be in there will be translated into Spanish and Chinese. And any other items that would be appropriate to be translated would be translated.
Okay, sounds good.
Of course.
So I had the chance to spoke with San Gabrielino High School counselor, Boha, about getting some students, high school students, involved in the city to translate some materials. I think they have students who's doing like newsletters or something. They are interested for volunteer opportunities, and they need hours. So maybe we can also get some workforce from them too. Yeah, and then get some fresh ideas and blood in there. I just wanted to get with Matthew or the department, see how we're gonna get this laid out, like what we need specifically from them, and hours required, how many of them were expected, and like who will be supervising the program or something.
Sure. Yeah, so it sounds like we're looking for a more formalized program, and that would fall in alignment really closely with our technology tutoring program that we already have. So essentially, we'd want to develop some sort of questionnaire. Our tech tutoring one is like 2 pages long, but I don't anticipate that we'll need something that long, maybe just a quarter page questionnaire to be sure that, what's your history of translating? Have you done any translating services? How many languages do you speak? Do you read or write or both? So like those type of questions to make sure that they're well suited. And then it would be onboarding them as a city volunteer. So they would need to be 16 years of age or older in order to volunteer. And then it would also come down to kind of how we would have them do the translation. Would they come into the office to do the translation?
Right.
So those types of things. But other than that, it should be a pretty straightforward process to get that implemented. So I would recommend we can set up a meeting outside of the I'm at the wrong commission meeting tonight, my apologies. Outside of the Community Services Commission meeting, and kind of work through what that process would look like and get an application put together for them as well.
Sounds good.
Great.
And let me see. Oh, I'm good. Sorry.
It's okay. Anyone else like to update us on? It's for our work plan. The work plan. On your section? Yeah, go ahead.
Some disappointing news. First of all, I should preface the fact that 3 weeks ago, I finally was able to connect with someone from Senator Susan Rubio's office. I had talked to Jennifer Tang from Representative Fong's office, and I talked to others, and told them that we wanted to apply for discretionary funding, but nobody gave me any more information. When Sandra Armenta answered the phone, that was where I got the information. She told me how we should do it, but she also told me that the deadline to get our request in was April 1st. And so I worked with Rebecca and Mark, and Mark actually wrote the letter. You've seen it probably, Matthew. He wrote a wonderful letter of request outlining the need for a pool and the facility and how bad it is, which it is. And we got letters from city council members. I think Terry that we asked the heads of the commissions, the chairs of the commissions, we reached out to other local politicians to write letters requesting discretionary funding from the state. As I was coming into the building here, I got a call, and the city council members are meeting with Fiona Ma right now. She is the state treasurer, and she said right off the bat, there is no money for swimming pools. So we got shot down before we even really got started. What Mark and Rebecca and I decided that, it was a long shot, but it's the best shot we had. And even though we were late at the tail end to get it, I don't think that made a difference. Because if you're getting it in before the deadline, they're going to put them in a pile, and then they're going to go through it. So we decided to take that chance, and if we didn't get any, we've learned now how to do the request. We'll keep doing it every year, maybe expand to Representative Judy Chu, to Supervisor Hilda Solis, wherever we can request discretionary funding, because we've tried grants twice and we've fallen short. So we're going to have to reach out to other things. I have to tell you, I was just so disappointed. My heart just sunk just before I came in the building. I got that report. So we're also hoping that if we get any funding at all, we'll put it in a fund for the pool. But from what it sounds like now, they're not going to give us anything. We don't know about Senator Rubio or Representative Fong. Maybe they'll find something. I also know that last year the state had a lot of excess funding. This year they don't. So they're going to be real stingy with it. I do know that Fiona Mong, I think before Christmas, she took a tour of the pool with Mayor Tony Ding and Councilman John Wu. I think they took a tour. So she knows the need, but she writes the checks. And but that doesn't mean we won't get anything. They can still ask. At least we have asked. So I guess depending on their answer, if we get anything at all, we'll find out at some point in time. So again, we just try again at the end of this year. This year, I think we're a little more educated on how to do it. We'll reach out to more politicos, for more people to help us apply for this. And, if we keep banging on that door, maybe we'll get something at some point. So that's my report on the pool. Sorry, I'm kind of down about the whole thing, but we were frantically working on this, and for the last few months, I've been trying to get some information on it, and finally got it, and we didn't get it. The other thing is on the classes on Saturday. I'm signed up for a class, and it's at 10 o'clock on Saturday, and I'm working at the Easter thing. So what do we do about that?
Yeah, so I reached out to staff to look into it with the instructor to potentially just cancel all of the classes that were scheduled for that day, because it doesn't really make sense to have class start on there. So they'll be getting back with you and all of the other participants.
Okay, thank you for that.
No problem.
Let's see, did I attend any important meetings? No, I've been working on the pool situation. So I guess the pool situation is carried on again next year. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. And you're right. I don't think that funding comes easily, so we'll just keep at it every year. And hopefully a few lessons are learned in that. Perhaps we need to garner a lot more support from the community. And if we plan it ahead and we start having people show up and go on record about the facilities and the challenges, and then maybe we have a better shot.
I think that's right, and we do need to let the city know, the community know how bad the situation is. I know the people that swim there know, but the more I've heard about it, the worse it is. I mean, I was told that when the kids swim there, they get their swimsuits ruined because it's so rough along the pool, it just tears them. I mean, and I'm also concerned because there's so much breakage around the cement side, that's a real liability for the city. But it doesn't do any good to patch and repair. It can, I guess we can to be safe, but in the long run, we really need to replace the whole facility. And as much it is used, hopefully we can reach out to the committee too. I don't think we can have fundraisers without having a nonprofit, right?
Yes, typically there would be a nonprofit that's set up for that purpose.
Yeah, and then just keep banging that drum. Thank you.
I have a question regarding funding for pools. So if cities can't fund pools, the only other source would be Friends of San Gabriel Smith Park Pool or state funding?
So there's the general fund, assuming that the city had infinite funds, could fully
Sure.
fund it themselves. Otherwise, there's the option of creating a nonprofit to support this particular cause, or just a general nonprofit that is specific for community services, let's say, and it can go to any project that the nonprofit deems necessary. And then, of course, the grants and other sources of funding that way.
So I have a question about the budget, the city budget, and how much money is allocated. Does the pool maintenance come out of a general fund, or does it come out of a specific Smith Park Pool fund?
Sure. So
Does it have a line item?
it comes out of a variety of funds, and I won't speak to the exact funds just because I don't have that information.
Sure.
I know that we utilize some Measure A funds for the pool, which are county funds. There's general fund money that goes into the maintenance of the pool, which is through our Parks Division of Public Works. So they handle all of our maintenance. And that's outside of the community services budget, which is, again, general fund monies. And that is more programmatic and staffing funds that go into that. So it's just under $200,000 annually that goes in for staffing and other program-related needs at the pool. And then I would need to follow up with the exact dollar amount that the Parks Division pulls out specifically, or Public Works, I should specify, specifically for the pool.
I have another comment. We only send out to our state representatives and senators, and that's fine, but I think we need to expand it to, like I said, Representative Judy Chu for federal funds. All you can do is ask. They say no, fine, we ask again next year. The same with Supervisor Hilda Solis. She's very involved in her district and in our area, and they probably don't have a whole lot of funds either, but at this point, I'm willing to take whatever they're willing to give us. So I think we should expand our umbrella for requests for funding. It's a big ask. We asked for 6.5 million, and that would be, well, it wasn't 26 million like our neighbors got, but I'm not bitter. That includes building a whole new pool and a pool house. I mean, total reconstruction. And we decided we might as well ask for that rather than ask for piecemeal. However, if we do get piecemeal, it goes into fund to save. We'll take whatever options we can. So any suggestions for fundraising?
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
I have one more question about the calendars on the back. May Thursday TBD drill team competition. Do we have more information about this activity? I think I never seen that one before.
The calendar on the back of, if you could just show me.
Event calendar of the
Yes,
year.
yes, thank you. So we haven't offered that in several years, so that's probably probably why. It used to be offered in conjunction with our dance show. So we had a contract class instructor by the name of Joanne, and she would kind of take the lead on that. But the city was running a deficit for that particular program to offer it. So we opted to not offer it at that scale. We have a new set of dance instructors who are fantastic, but the one who does the majority of our kind of typical dance classes like ballet, tap, and jazz, they do recitals at their own site outside of what we offer. So there's still that opportunity for the youth to have that. But the drill team, to circle back to your actual question, was the best way to describe it is like cheerleading mixed with gymnastics. And so they would have like pom-poms like a cheerleader would. They have a minute routine, and then the rec leader from each school site, so it's kind of combined with our after-school program, would teach them that routine, and then they would perform during the dance show. We tried offering it once during COVID, but the enrollment wasn't where it needed to be, if I'm remembering correctly, and we haven't brought it back since.
But we're going to try now.
Not yet. So that was a kind of a tentative hold in hopes that we would be able to.
Sure.
But it had kind of had to be put on hold for now and focusing on increasing attendance in other programs.
Okay.
Okay. And then about the Cinco de Mayo event that's coming up, where can we get some more information about like a vendor registration or
Sure.
like what activities are available, so we can see maybe there are like a dance groups of like Spanish dance groups that we know that we can bring up to the event, or like art crafts booth vendors that we can bring.
Yes. So
I think it's the same program from last year.
very similar to last year. Yep. So as far as kind of like a lineup and getting more information on it, all of the finalized details will be posted online with all of the other special events on the department page. And we do work with a third-party vendor that coordinates the like arts and crafts vendors, or the artisan vendors, I should say. We internally do the arts and crafts typically. So the long or short answer to my very already long answer is, if you know of any talent or anything or people that would like to participate in some sort of vendor capacity, you can provide that information to Christina, and she'll follow up with them. As far as performances, those should already be locked in. So hopefully there's not a need for that at this point. But otherwise, I'm sure we could welcome new vendors to that as well. And then our third party that is working with us on that, her name is Yolanda, would be able to reach out and get that all squared away with them.
Okay. And I'm going all the way to July for the July 4th parade and Kids Day. I went that one last year, and I knew that we only had like under 20 of the different groups or organizations. I want to see if we can start earlier this year to reach out to the nonprofit organization or community groups that they wanted to sign up for the event. Because last time, I think it was still like very last minute, I realized, oh, there are other community groups that they can actually sign up. And then there are actually like residents on a specific street that they organize a group at the moment. Yeah, that was really interesting. So I felt maybe there are other people that are interested and bring their kids out to the event. And it was a really nice event, so I want to make sure we have more people to come.
So maybe what we can do is advertise. It's a great idea. We could advertise or like call for groups in May and in June at our summer events in our community services booth.
Right, yeah, great.
I think it's a great idea.
So any event beyond Cinco de Mayo, you can provide any contact information to me, and I'll reach out to them directly, or have one of the staff members in our department reach out to them, whoever is leading the event. So.
Or do we have like a sign-up form for the 4th of July? I think we do.
Not yet. We do have one from last year, but I still need to go through and update everything.
Okay.
Maybe we
So
could provide a flyer and give information of where they can send.
Right.
yeah, so the flyer should be done by tomorrow by the third party that we have. I won't have any printed by
Sure.
celebration, but I can send it to you digitally to pull up that information.
Yeah.
I'll have the Play Day flyer done by then as well, hopefully. That one's
May
a
20th.
bit more difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Surf's Up would be the one kind of in between there, which is the summer kickoff on June.
That's a great, I think, well, we're kind of full in May, but starting to get the word out and then really pushing hard in May and June.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that'll be all.
Anyone else? No, we're good? Okay. Monthly department report. Staff will present the monthly department report pertaining to departmental programming. Matthew.
Thank you. So a couple updates. In our youth programs, we have the All-City Pentathlon. So I believe Commissioner Shea and Commissioner Herrera from the HERE Commission were in attendance and of great assistance, so we appreciate you joining us. If I'm missing anyone, I apologize, I wasn't there. From what I understand, it was a fantastic event. Amy, who led the event, our recreation supervisor, did a fantastic job. It was new for her, but not new for the city, as I'm sure you are all aware. But somehow she managed to make it better than it was before COVID. So kudos to her. With that, it took place on Saturday, March 25th. We had about 70 students from San Gabriel Unified, and that was from every single school, a site that we have, including Jefferson Middle School. I think we had one participant from Jefferson Middle School. So hopefully that's something we can push out a little bit more next year. The way we ran that this year is that we had our recreation leaders training the students at the after-school sites. We didn't have one at Jefferson since we don't have an active after-school program there. We do run our sports programs though. And then anyone who wanted to participate, they didn't necessarily need to be part of the after-school program, but they could do a separate registration just to train for the pentathlon. The event included a 50 and 200 meter dash, standing and running long jump, and a softball toss. Over 200 spectators attended the event to cheer them on, which is fantastic. If you've ever been to the pentathlon, you kind of get that really hometown community feel, similar to our holiday tree lighting event. And again, the community services staff did a fantastic job. The older adults, we have our social bingo and our special senior luncheon. Before I highlight those programs, I'll make a note that Jackie Valso is taking the lead on all of our senior programs. She's our new recreation specialist. She'll likely be introduced at the next meeting. Today is her AWS, so I didn't want to make her come in just to introduce her. So hopefully you'll see her at the next meeting. So anything senior related will be coming from her. Our senior recreation leader, Desiree, is doing a fantastic job of assisting with a lot of these programs and taking the lead on some of them, including the social bingo and our special senior luncheons. Our social bingo we do completely independently. The next one is going to be held April 20th, and you can just walk into that program. The special senior luncheon, the next one will be taking place on March 15th at the Adult Rec Center, has already taken place on March 15th, my apologies. The next one will be on April 19th, which will be the spring celebration luncheon. About 75 people were in attendance for the March luncheon, which is fantastic. We're averaging about 55 on our regular luncheons, which again, if you recall, prior to COVID, we were at somewhere between 25 to 35, and 35 was on a really good day. So we're doing fantastic. Those numbers are outside of our Tuesday meal program, which is about 150. The meal program on Tuesdays will likely be dissipating, so we are not looking to bring on new people to that program. The Tuesday program is the 7 meals that people can take home. It's not the hot meals in person. So the city of Alhambra has actually already dismantled their takeaway meal program. So we're kind of one of the remaining ones. It's not because we want to, but YWCA, which is the nonprofit that we work with, their funding is dissipating for that program, and they're redirecting funding to the hot meal program. In conjunction, they also are the ones that we work closely for the special luncheons. So come the new fiscal year, we likely won't have as many special luncheons that are offered directly through the YWCA, but the city will be supplementing a lot of those programs to ensure that we can continue the same level of service come the new fiscal year.
That's important.
Finally, we have our special event, the 78th annual spring celebration. Again, Amy will be taking the lead on that event and will be there to answer any questions that you might have. I think it'll be a great community event. It will take place from 7 to 11 in partnership with the Kiwanis Club of San Gabriel. And the Kiwanis Club will be taking the lead on the coloring contest as well as the pancake breakfast, as they have for many, many years. It's only $5 for the pancake breakfast, which I don't think you can get a pancake breakfast for $5 anywhere else, so that's a steal. And then in addition to those, the new item is the Bubble Fun Zone. So Amy was very excited to bring that to the community, so hopefully that's kind of a new highlight. We'll also have the DJ there that we've had in years past, as well as the photo booth with Mr. Bunny.
Wonderful. Does any commission member have any questions for Matthew?
I do have one. You said there was just one person in the middle school that attended?
Correct.
The reason I ask is that I was at a city council meeting a couple times ago, I don't remember when, and a resident got up and she was disappointed that the middle school wasn't having one. I know she talked to Rebecca after the meeting. Is that why that was included instead of a separate entity?
Correct. So we looked back at historical marketing materials, and it does look like we offered Jefferson in prior years, but in our initial marketing for Pentathlon, we didn't market it to the middle school age group. So after that public comment, it prompted us to look back. So then we did open it up. The kind of downside with the middle school, downside but upside of the middle school age group is we rely on SMAF to kind of take them to the next level. So if they score well in our pentathlon, then we can push them to the SMAF tournaments where they can go and compete against other cities as a representative of the city of San Gabriel. Unfortunately, to this date, we still don't have concrete information from SMAF, so that was kind of a hindrance, but hopefully we can get that information from them ahead of time and really do a more concerted effort to push the information.
Well, I'm glad that you followed up on that. I know Rebecca talked to her because this woman was very emotional about it. She apparently had some other children that had been involved, and here was her last son, and he couldn't go, and she felt so bad. And she had a lot of wonderful comments about the pentathlon and how it helps kids. So that may have been the one student that went in. So I'm glad that you're addressing that issue for her because she was a very nice lady. That's it.
Anyone else?
I think actually in the end, the kid brought a friend of his, so two of them were competing against each other.
That's great.
Yes, that was good. Yeah. Hopefully that lady's kid was among one of them. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that story, and I was looking in the guide and see if we have the information in there. But we actually do, but maybe somewhere more obviously next time. I have comment, not a question though. Should I wait for later?
Well, this is a comment. The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Oh, I should have asked. Do we have any public? Okay.
We do not.
Okay, so the time for public comment is closed. Now we can discuss.
I just had a really good time at the city pentathlon, and with my husband, we were awarding ribbons to the students. The kids were, especially the elementary school kids, they were really like excited for the event, and a lot of kids, they were like, in the beginning, they were holding the banners that they designed and marching in front of the audience, and then like yelling their like school slogans and all that. It was really wonderful, bring back good memories. We encourage you, if next time you have time, let's all go together to help out. And then other than like giving away ribbons, we're taking some videos and also help out at the jump site to clean up the sands. But I haven't got the chance to fix the video yet, but I will try to get it done ASAP.
Thank you. Thanks for representing community services.
You're welcome. And then
Commission.
right. Yeah, and then for this Saturday's event, how many commissioners should be in a booth at one time? Like this is like a really long time, from like 7 to 11. Maybe should we divide or something?
Well, I know that,
Alternate?
right.
You'll be cooking. So I guess just me.
It's you and I. It's okay, we could do it. I think we'll be good.
Yeah, just you gonna miss all the fun at the booth. That's all.
Yeah, okay. That would be great. That sounds good. Yes,
Then
we'll make sure we have chairs.
yeah. Then I can have time like walk around, take a little
Video, yeah, footage. Great. Anyone else? Any other comments on the monthly report?
This isn't about community services, but no.
What?
Yeah, yesterday, there was a pop-up bookstore down at Blossom. And it's a little bookstore in El Monte that opened last year, and they focus mainly on indigenous groups, groups of color. And they had a really nice representation. It's not a very big bookstore, and I will go down and visit the actual store. That's on my to-do list. But I went with Denise, and they really had a nice display. So I hope that encourages people to go down there. There are a lot of children's books as well. Pricing was very good because it's not always new books, which is kind of nice.
When you say pop-up, was it just for that moment, or is it?
Just for that day, like for,
I'm gonna ask you ladies to hold off, and then we'll go on to the commission reports.
okay.
And then you can give comment on that. Let's get through 5 commission reports. Each commissioner may address the Community Services Commission in public on matters of general information and are concerned. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings they have attended. Commissioner Cabot.
Now I can say it. I gave you my report. The one that I was really concerned about was the pool, and I reported on that because I had been working with Mark and Rebecca. But yesterday, there was a nice pop-up bookstore at the Blossom Market, and Denise encouraged them to do it maybe in some other locations around here. So that was nice. That's about all, I've been working on. I will, now that I know that we aren't going to get any funding for the pool, well, we might get some, but I'll work with Councilman Ding and see what we want to do about a moon festival. Okay, that's it.
Commissioner Cordero.
No, I really don't have anything more to add. Only that I'll be there this Saturday with, it sounds like, with everybody, and I will be not only cooking, I will help community services. And I know it's going to be a great time. And next year, I do want to go to that pentathlon, especially since you said it was a hometown feeling. And what you were saying, Ting, just matched up with what Matthew said. So I'll be there to help as a member or non-member.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shea.
I just wanted to commend Amy for her hard work putting the pentathlon together and with all other instructors. And the instructors are actually from the community service department. Yeah, they're tutoring, the students at the after-school program. So it was really nice to see many of them at the event, and it was really good turnout. And then the same day afterwards, I went to the Native Voice 13th Annual Short Play Festival at the Autry Museum of the American West. And they had the festival celebration of the Native American culture of storytelling. So they had like a lot of those short plays about the Native Americans or related stories. So it was really interesting. And one more thing I want to mention is I went through the guide, the spring edition, and the page 4, where we have this QR code. And when I scan it, it says it's an example QR code. It cannot really be scanned, yeah. But the one on the bottom, it goes to the news page, but this one doesn't.
Okay.
So maybe we need to check out next time.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then,
connect with our public information officer.
yeah, and then There's really good. We have a lot of events lining up over here, but going back to the pentathlon event that I found it was kind of hiding under the youth programs in this little section. So maybe next time we can put it up more in the front with all the events are at. Gonna be more easy for people to find the information. Yeah, thank you.
So if we help with the pentathlon, what's on? Oh, if we help with the pentathlon, do we have to have a cheering group and banners and a chant that we make for the community services helper?
Why not? We can start with.
Yeah, 2 students from Jefferson, they can just march. 4 of us who can, yeah. We can do more, definitely.
Well, I didn't attend any conferences or meetings, but I think I want to echo Vice Chair Shea's commendation on Amy, but I think every month I say the same thing. You guys have such a small staff and you put on some really incredible programming, and the recreational leaders are so vital, because you think about there are families that are fortunate enough to put their kids in sports outside of school, and there are those that don't. And so that fills the gap. And it's, I think we all know that there is a lot of confidence building that comes in sportsmanship, in playing sports, and being part of any type of sport. So it's really important, and you guys do a great job year round. Just like teachers, we don't pay staff enough, even aides, teachers' aides, and all the people who work in all of the schools. So they don't get paid enough, and yet our children are in their hands. So great job year round. Okay, that's it. That's all I have. Moving on to staff comments, dates to remember. Staff will present dates to remember for upcoming events, programs, and meetings.
Sure, so let's see. Give me 1 second. So we have the city council meeting that's coming up tomorrow, April 4th. April 8th is the pancake breakfast and egg hunt. April 18th is the second city council meeting of the month. And then April 25th is our Here Commission meeting. Just a couple additional updates. We hosted our first LGBTQ plus 101 DEI training for our part-time staff in our department. So it was opened up to Mission Playhouse and Community Services Division. It was offered by the Equality California nonprofit, and it was a virtual training, so they could do it from the comfort of their home or wherever they felt most comfortable, which was vital in my eyes when we were working with the partner, is how can we make staff feel the most comfortable in this, what can be an uncomfortable conversation. And the goal of the training was to ensure that, of course, that the staff were comfortable, like I mentioned, but that they can have an open dialogue and ask questions and absorb as much information as they possibly can within an hour-and-a-half time frame. The recreation leaders and aquatic staff that attended were more engaged than I initially anticipated them being. I told them they all have to have their camera on so I can tell that they're paying attention. They need to really be paying attention and engaged. And then they were asking some really great questions, so I was pleased to see that they enjoyed it as much as they did. We'll be hosting a full-time one later this month for, of course, our staff in Community Services and Mission Playhouse Division, so that will be mandatory. And then it'll be opened up to the city full-time staff as an optional training should they be interested in attending. Beyond that, like I mentioned, we have our Play Day event coming up on the 20th of May, which we will be opening up larger than we have in the past. So AYC will have a multicultural pop-up. The Here Commission will have a art pop-up or a pop-up within the pop-up, if that makes sense. So their pop-ups can kind of consist of a few different organizations that constitute the pop-up. Is the best way that I can describe it. So the Here Commission will be a part of that. We will also have the San Gabriel Educational Foundation's group. I would have to double check the name, but their students are offering demonstrations of their kind of microbiomes that they've created. So that will be at the event. And then, of course, all of the other festivities that are typically at the event. And as usual, we partner with the Friends of La Laguna on that event. The next event beyond that will be the Surf's Up event. And you'll notice we've had quite a bit of shifting in our department as far as staffing is concerned. So as I mentioned, we have Jackie, who is our newest member. Of course, we know Mei Ling now, so she's our newest admin assistant too. Elisa is our newest part-time admin assistant in our office. We also have kind of reassigned some duties, and people have been promoted. So Danielle Adriano has been promoted to recreation coordinator and is handling all of our facilities, including our facility rentals. And there's a few other shifts, but those are the major ones. So feel free to just, pop in, say hi to any of the staff, ask them what they do. I'm sure they'll be happy to tell you. They won't take offense to it, because the more that we can get the word out about what we do, the better off I think we'll all are, and we can have a better conversation and grow. So if you have any questions, just feel free to let me know.
Wonderful.
I have a question, not about that, but isn't April 28th the dinner for the commissioners at the Playhouse?
Yes. I want to say it's the 20th.
It is the 20th.
Yes.
The 20th?
April 20th is the commission dinner, and then, yes, May 20th is
Right.
play day.
It's Play Day.
I mean, I have the information at home, but so the commission dinner is at the Playhouse this year? How are they doing that? Is it actually in the Playhouse or to the building by the side?
Typically, we host events in the lobby of the Playhouse. So, like right when you walk in. We've hosted our veterans luncheon there as well.
Okay. Just wondered.
Yeah, it can hold a lot of people.
Well, I know, the last time they had it was, before before COVID, and that was at the country club. It was quite nice.
A long
But-
time ago.
Yeah, it has been. There's a lot under the bridge since then, so that's my question, is the 20th. All right, thank you.
Of course.
Well, it's good to see that that not just community services, but the city as a whole is really working towards diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm really happy to hear about that. And now it's adjournment. The next regular Community Services Commission will be held on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the Community Services Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at 7:36 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mei Ling. Great job.